Welcome back, Hive Mind. This is Shalazar with Hive Mind Gaming with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we're going to take a look at the Magic Keep. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go in here to the dungeons and we're going to look at your keeps here. Now, if you're just starting the game, you have 7 days to go wild on these guys. Every single one of them will be open for the first 7 days. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the Magic Keep because it's the only one open right now for me. I mean, the Arcane Keep's open every time or always. The Magic Keep opens up on Tuesdays. Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. I think it comes back open on Saturday, and then Sunday, and then it goes back to Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday. So that's the schedule. This will always be Sunday, always, 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 and this will always be open constantly. So you can farm them because the white potions right here are what you need for every single one of them. So, all right. So we're going to take a look at the Magic Keep here. Now we're still a little low level. Now when you're running through the Magic Keep, it will tell you what you have the chance of getting when you go through it. So right here at this one, it's going to take 8 energy, and I have the chance of getting the lesser magic potions or the greater magic potions. It's not until higher level that I even have the chance for the superior magic potions. Now, I could proc a rare reward, which could be a green shard, a blue shard, or even a blue brew. So let's go ahead and go through here real fast. So we don't need those guys. Let's see who else we can throw in here. And we want to level her up, so pretty sure these guys can take care of it on their own. So we're going to throw her in there just for a little speed boost, if possible. So the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to have 2 waves of guys, which, yeah, we could probably do a little bit higher, but I don't want to test it because the problem is that she is really tough because she's got this huge shield. Okay, so she starts with a shield. She has it for 3 turns. So she has her first passive, which this is going to be pretty standard for all bosses in all the dungeons. She's immune to stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, block cooldown skills, fear, and true fear debuffs. She's also immune to any HP exchange effects and HP balancing effects and cooldown increasing effects. So basically what that means is there are some characters that will just switch life totals with you. That is an ability, and so bosses are typically immune to that. Her next passive is she places a shield places a shield buff on this champion for 3 turns at the start of the battle. That's what's going on, which I already showed you. The value of the shield is proportional to this champion's max HP, meaning that the higher level you go, the bigger this shield's going to be. Alright, and then her third passive is damage inflicted by each skill increases by 25% for each buff on this champion. So as she gains buffs, her damage goes up in damage value. Alright, so she can do this every 3 turns. It's a magic shield, level 1. She places a shield buff on this champion for 3 turns. That does count as a buff. As you can see right here, this little shield, she does count as a buff. And then she places either a 50% increase attack buff, or a 30% increase speed buff, or a 60% increase defense buff on this champion for 3 turns. The value of the shield is proportional to this champion's max hit points. So, yeah, so she's buffing herself every 3 turns. She's going to buff herself. She's going to get that shield, that big shield back. And then her actual ability, her attack ability, is attacks all enemies, has a 20% chance of decreasing the turn meter by 50%. So most champions or dungeon bosses are gonna have an ability to that attacks everybody. And then you've got these two little schmoes here. All right, so what these little schmoes will do, this one here, if you have any debuffs on her, if you like, for instance, War Maiden throws that decreased defense. This little guy right here, his punk, will actually remove all those debuffs and add a, a block debuffs buff on her so that you can't add any more for like 2 turns. And this guy here, he does something equally annoying. I think he gives her shield or gives her another buff. I forget exactly what he does. Let's see if we can find out. So we just accidentally attacked him, so let's just use her to go ahead and finish him off. And then here at low levels, I mean, these things are fairly easy to defeat. So let's go ahead and attack her. Yeah, yeah, we should have probably raised the level a little bit. All these guys are pretty leveled out at this point. So she just casted the shield and the increased speed on her. So we're just going to throw that at him. Or at her, sorry. We're just going to keep using our A1s just to see what the other guy did because I totally missed it. Go ahead and rewind that back. See what he did. The beauty. Okay, so he just placed a decreased defense, the small version, on us. So that's what he did. Alright, so we're just going to finish her off. You do not have to kill the little minions to get, once you kill the boss, the dungeon's over. So that's pretty much it. So now, once you get into higher levels, what you're going to want to do with this dungeon. So once you get into the higher levels, that shield gets bigger. The minions hit harder. The minions' abilities hit harder. It's just, this dungeon is the spirit dungeon is the only one, or is the worst one in my opinion. This is the second because of that shield. The spirit dungeon and this one were those two vexed me for the longest time when I was coming up in the game because I didn't know how to deal with that shield. By the time you beat that shield down, she'd put it back up. So it was real annoying. So going into later games, you're going to be wanting to look for characters that have decreased defense, obviously like War Maiden. You're going to want someone who can remove buffs because that will just remove the shield, get rid of it completely. Which can also be if you wanted to take her that way, it could also be your shaman. So don't forget your shaman has an ability in her A1 that there's a 25% chance of removing one random buff from the target. So if you give her enough accuracy, which I usually don't worry about accuracy on shaman because this is the only thing that needs it, and she's there to res. And she hits pretty hard, actually, for a support character. So, but anyway, so I usually don't worry about accuracy on her, but she can be used if you've got no other choice. She can be used because of that ability to take down that shield. So that's a really good choice or an option for you while you're coming up in levels. Another good option, which is something we haven't talked about, when you go into here, you have the ability to summon these guys, right? Well, if you notice, there's 2 tabs over here. It took me forever to find this when I was doing the Arbiter missions. it said fuse someone, and I'm like, what the heck's a fuse? And then there was a fusion event, and I'm like, I was so confused. I had no clue what the fusion was. It's this little tab right here. Duh. I'm such an idiot. All right. So at any point when you, speaking of which, when you're in here in the tavern, and you're trying to upgrade someone or feed someone that has this little yin yang down here. That's what that means is that they're a part of a fusion, meaning that they're needed to fuse someone. So, and that's what this is. So, for instance, there is War Maiden and there is Diabolicist or whatever her name is. No, it's not going to show me her name. But anyway, so it tells you exactly what you need to be able to use her for this. You'll need them at 3 stars, 3 stars, and ascended. That's why they're pink, and ascended. And then you just click, and then once you have all of them, it will come up and it will say fuse, and then you'll get this guy. And once you get this guy, which these guys are just all 3 stars, which this guy's one. These both of these two guys are someone you can get from farming the camp. Actually, all three of these. Sorry, all three of these characters you can get from farming the campaign. Now, this guy right here, he's actually pretty strong. He hits pretty hard, so he can definitely help you early game, in early to mid game even. I've seen him in mid game, and he can hit really, really hard. So if you can get him fused, I would suggest doing it. You can actually farm every single one of these characters. So you can farm all three of those, and you can farm all four of these from the campaign. And once you get these farmed, and then up to level 30, you ascend all of them, and then you get this guy. This guy is horrible. You only want to get him for this fusion, and that's it. Because he's just horrible after that. He's not useful at all. So don't get excited about, oh, I want to get that guy. Who cares? He's absolutely useless. But these guys, this guy's actually not bad, and he's really good, and she's really good because she's a cleanser. She's good at cleansing off debuffs off your characters. So these three I would definitely suggest getting, and this guy. These four I would suggest getting for your account because they're great for free to play accounts. And he's not bad either, but I would suggest getting those for your account and then getting a second copy so you can do this fusion because he would help you tremendously. And then there's this guy. These you have to pull. You will have to pull with shards. There's no way to get them otherwise. These guys you've probably seen. Heck, I've got 5 obviously. The little red dot means I have them in my stash. Once I get them to level 30 with 3-star ascensions, I can get these two guys. These two champions, which are not bad. And then I get those to 30 with those, and I can get this guy, who is not great. He is not great at all. Broad Maw. I mean, he will. And I mean, who brings their baby skull? Yeah, it's a skull. Who brings their baby skull to work? I mean, that's just horrible. Why would you do that? So, but he's a healer, so he can help your Lizardman faction in Faction Wars. He will help you with that for a little bit. So this is not a bad. If you end up getting these two characters or these two champions, that's not a bad use of those two champions because, I mean, she hits pretty hard, but he's not so great, and they're not so great. So if you can get these 4, go ahead and fuse him so this guy can at least help you in Faction Wars. He's kind of useless other than that. Here's the big one though. Razan. He is a bad mamma jamma. He is a top tier legendary, and he can definitely help your account out. He can only be fused once, where these guys can be fused multiple times. So I would suggest, if you can, when you get these guys and you fuse this, go ahead and fuse it twice because these two are actually really good, really really good. So I would fuse these two twice because she will definitely help your uh, demon spawn team for sure. She hits hard and she's got a lot of utility, especially for clan boss. And he would help your undead hordes. He's a really good tank, and he would. I don't think he has a kit that would be helpful for clan boss. I mean, uh, he does have the ability to stay alive, but it doesn't help the rest of your team. So not a very friendly guy for clan boss, but he will definitely help in faction wars, especially for a free to play team or free to play account. So it's just a point of getting these these other characters so you can fuse these guys. Some of these are actually characters you can get in the uh, that you can farm in the. Let's say I think these two and that one, maybe even him and that guy. Which this guy's a really good guy to farm, by the way. He's in campaign as well. Now this guy, on the other hand, is great for quite a few different things, especially like spider or your spider boss. He's good for killing some of the waves in the other dungeons. So this guy's a really good pivotal guy for free to play accounts too. So we'll take a closer look at him another time. But yeah, so if you could get these guys leveled up and then get these guys leveled up to 5 star and then get you Razin. Razin is a bad mamma jamma and he's a lizard folk. So he can definitely help your team. And yeah, so every free to play account should definitely have him. So that's something to think about while you're leveling up your guys. And before you use some of those guys as food, which is why they have that little yin yang in the bottom of their picture. It's to remind you, hey, these guys are used for a fusion, so you may not want to feed them. So that's there for. Will pop up to let you know. So, all right, keep that in mind. Other than that, if there's if you have any questions or tell me any tactics you may use in the Magic Keep, whether on your main account or if you have a main account that's higher level in end game, or if you're just beginning, who your favorite guys are that you take into the Magic Keep. Let us know in the comments. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Great talking to you guys again. We'll see you tomorrow.